How's it going, everyone? Data here, and it is that time of year again. The 2024 NHL postseason matchups have been set, and we are going to simulate through them to see what the EA Sim on NHL 24 will predict. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard, and we'd love to have you join this great community where we do comment-led franchise mode series, career simulations, analyses of the real-world NHL, and, as we're doing right now, league simulations. At the start of the 2023-24 NHL season, we ran a sim, and the game told us that the Rangers would win the Stanley Cup, and so far they've gone on to win the President's Trophy, so we'll see how that prediction fares in this simulation. Speaking of predictions, EA has also been doing these simulations for years, but it's unfortunately been a very long while since they've gotten one right. If we go through the last decade or so, in NHL 13 they predicted the New York Rangers to win, in NHL 14 the Boston Bruins, in NHL 15 the Anaheim Ducks, NHL 16 the Washington Capitals, NHL 17 the Nashville Predators, NHL 18 the Winnipeg Jets, NHL 19 the Tampa Bay Lightning, NHL 20 the Edmonton Oilers, NHL 21 the Colorado Avalanche, NHL 22 the Florida Panthers, NHL 23 the Boston Bruins, and now in NHL 24 they have the Vancouver Canucks predicted as the Stanley Cup champions. We ourselves are unfortunately also 0-2 as our sim in NHL 22 had the Oilers reverse sweeping the Maple Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. That would have been ridiculous. And our sim last year in NHL 23 had the Avalanche beating the Bruins. So this year in NHL 24 we're going to see if we can work the crystal ball a little bit and try to create some storylines for the exciting NHL postseason which is to come. Speaking of which, if you want an in-depth breakdown of each series, check out my analysis, which will be in the top right corner as soon as it's live later today if you're watching at time of upload. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into the NHL 24 sim using EA's most recent April 16th rosters, and we'll see what unfolds. Of course, in the real world, many teams will face injuries and many other hurdles, but in this sim, injuries will be turned off and roster control will be out of my hands. So of course, here are the matchups in the West and in the East. Dallas, Vegas, Winnipeg, Colorado, Vancouver, Nashville, Edmonton, LA, Florida, Tampa Bay, Boston, Toronto, New York Rangers against the Capitals, and Carolina versus the New York Islanders. So we'll go ahead and get this party started, ladies and gentlemen, to start off mode here on NHL 24. So we'll start off with the first series. It'll be Dallas versus Vegas, the second seed in the NHL versus the 14th seed. First in the Central versus the second wild card. Of course, Vegas a lot better than their record, I think. But Dallas a 52-win team versus Vegas a 45-win team. We'll fly through the earlier rounds a bit more quickly, then check out the point totals and move on to the next round. But when we get towards the end, we'll go game by game in depth. But for game one of Vegas versus Dallas, let's sim through the game. If we sim to next game, we get a 1-0 series lead for Vegas. That's going to be a tough one for Dallas. Yes, they had 52 wins, but Vegas a lot better than their record shows. Jack Eichel a hat-trick in game one, 4 points, and Vegas leads that series 1-0. All right, next up we have Vancouver versus Nashville. Vancouver finishing first in the Pacific, a 50-win team versus the wildcard Predators who finished 47, 30, and 5. Simulating through game number 1, we see the Predators taking it in game 1, so the underdogs win both first games there. Now we jump over to the Eastern Conference. We'll see Florida versus Tampa Bay. Florida finishing with 52 wins as first in the Atlantic. Tampa Bay in a wildcard spot, but again, just like Vegas, a lot better than I think their position in the standings would tell you. So simming through game 1, and Tampa Bay wins it. Technically the underdog winning all 3 games so far. Now going over the New York Rangers, the President's Trophy winning Rangers, first in the Metropolitan, 55-win season, facing the 17th place, second wild card, barely squeaked in Washington Capitals, who finished 40, 31, and 11. Can the Capitals keep the wild card, or the underdog, I should say, trend going? And they do! Oh my! As the Capitals take game 1 at Madison Square Garden. Wow. All right, now on to Colorado versus Winnipeg. This is an incredible series. The only series of 2 teams who have won 50 games or more. Second in the Central versus third in the Central. Winnipeg technically the favorites and Colorado the underdogs on paper. But this could go either way. So in game 1, the Winnipeg Jets win it, the first time that a favorite, technically a favorite, wins through our first 5 matchups so far. So Winnipeg takes game 1 against the Avalanche. Now the Oilers versus the Kings. Oilers second in the Pacific versus the Kings third in the Pacific. The 9 seed versus the 12 seed. Edmonton 49 wins. LA 44 wins. Simming through game 1 of this series, the Oilers take it and lead 1-0. Now the Bruins versus the Maple Leafs. A lot of people thinking that the Bruins are the easy favorites, but EA has a favorable sim usually for the Maple Leafs. They made it to the Stanley Cup Final a couple of years ago in NHL 22 sim, so let's see Boston versus Toronto, the 7 seed versus the 10 seed, only one win between them, 47-46, the Bruins having the one extra. Simming through this game, and the Maple Leafs take game 1. Now the biggest mismatch of the entire postseason, the Hurricanes versus the Islanders, the 3 seed versus the 15 seed. 2-3 in the Metropolitan Division, but 52 wins for the Hurricanes and 39 for the Islanders. So let's go through game 1 here. Can the underdogs continue? No, the Hurricanes will take game 1. All right, so game 1 of every series is complete. Let's go back to the top of the card here. Vegas versus Dallas. They are up 1-0 in this series as the underdogs. Game 2, and Vegas wins both games on the road. Headed back to T-Mobile Arena. They'll have a 2-0 series lead. Wow, Dallas can be sweating after that one. All right, Nashville up 1-0 in their series over Vancouver as the underdogs as well, and they cannot win both on the road. They'll split the games in Vancouver. It'll be a best of 5 headed back to Nashville. Tampa versus Florida. Let's do game 2, and the Lightning now have a 2-0 series lead as well, winning both games on the road, headed back home. Isn't that something to say if you win both on the road and you have 2 more at home coming up? Whew. Now, Washington, can they win both games at Madison Square Garden, or the Rangers, can they wake up a little bit and say, whoa, 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 pump your brakes? And yes, that's exactly what they'll say. 1-1 series there. Avalanche and Jets, 1-0 Jets in this series, make it 1-1 now, best of 5 there as well, as the Avalanche win game 2. Kings versus Oilers, and the Oilers win game 2. They get both games at home. The only home team to win both so far here. The Hurricanes have a chance to do that as well. We have now the Leafs versus the Bruins for game 2 in Boston, and Boston will tie up the series at home, headed over to Toronto now. The Hurricanes, can they win both games at home? No, they cannot. The Islanders have life. So the Edmonton Oilers, the only team to win both games at home, and the majority of the series are tied at 1 game apiece. So now for game 3 in Las Vegas, the Golden Knights have a 2-0 series lead. Can they extend it at home? No, they cannot. Dallas has life. It's a 2-1 series now. Now we got the Canucks versus the Predators. It's a best of 5 in Nashville, and the Canucks answer with a nice victory. 6 points in 3 games for the captain, Quinn Hughes. Florida versus Tampa. It's a 2-0 Lightning lead now in Tampa Bay, and the Florida Panthers have life once more. The trend continues there too, where the home team loses twice but then wins the first game on the road. So the road team having a lot of success in the sim so far. Rangers versus Capitals here in Washington, and the Rangers win game 3 to go up now 2-1. Winnipeg versus Colorado in Colorado. The Avalanche win now to go up 2-1 in their series. Oilers versus Kings. Can they be the only team to take a 3-0 lead so far? No, they cannot. The Kings have life. 2-1 series there as well. So no series will be a sweep, as each one will be 2-1 at the end here. So we have a couple more to go through. Toronto wins game 3 in Boston to take a 2-1 series lead. Carolina Islanders now. The Islanders, in the biggest mismatch, have a 2-1 series lead over the Hurricanes. My goodness. All right, so now here's where things will get very interesting. With every series being 2-1, if the team with 2 games can win a third, that really puts the team with 1 in a very precarious position. But if the team with 1 can tie it up at 2, make it a best of 3, could go either direction. Now in Las Vegas for game 4, the Dallas Stars got to fight their way back on the road. Can they do it? Yes, they can. It'll be a best of 3 as that series is now tied at 2. Vancouver versus Nashville in Nashville, 2-2 series there as well. Oh my. Panthers versus Lightning, can they crawl back as well? Yes, they can. 2-2 series in the Battle of Florida. Rangers and Capitals. Can the Rangers take a 3-1 series lead? Yes, the only team to do it so far, the President's Trophy winners, up 3-1. Avalanche and Jets now in Colorado. It's a 3-1 Avalanche lead. 4 goals and 8 points in 4 games from Nathan MacKinnon. His 140-point season continuing here. Oilers versus Kings for game 4. It's a 2-2 series here as well. Bruins versus Maple Leafs. 3-1 Maple Leafs lead. Can the Hurricanes stave off embarrassment and get back in this series now? No, they cannot! The Islanders are up 3-1. Easily the biggest upset, that would be right here if they can finish it off. Up 3-1. So a good mix of 2-2 series and 3-1 series. Of the 4 series that are split 3-1, the Rangers are the only favorite up 3-1. 3 out of 4 have the underdogs up 3-1. Wow. All right, so Vegas versus Dallas now for game number 5 back in Dallas. Who can take the lead in this series and be 1 win away from the next round? Vegas goes up 3-2. Win 2, lose 2, and they're back on top. The road team continues to have success. Nashville versus Vancouver now. Who's going up? It's going to be Vancouver up 3-2 with a chance to end it back in Nashville. Tampa versus Florida here for the Panthers having home ice advantage. And the Panthers will utilize that and finally get a home win now to chalk one up for the home teams. The Rangers, the first team with a chance to end the series here. Can they do it in Game 5 back home here at Madison Square Garden? Yes, they can. They're the first team through to round number 2, as the Rangers had a little bit of a scare in Game 1, but they have the gentleman's sweep and take down the Capitals in 5 after losing Game number 1. Now, can the Avalanche do the same thing and now finish it off in 5 games in Winnipeg? No, they cannot. The Jets have life. That series is now 3-2. 2-2 series between the Oilers and the Kings. Who's going up? It's going to be Edmonton up 3-2. Nylander with 8 points in 4 games as well. Here's a chance for Toronto to finish it out. If they did, I think it would be one of the more unlikely things of this simulation. I wouldn't say it's impossible that Toronto wins, but I don't think it would happen in 5 games. Hey, maybe I'll eat my words, but I'm just saying. With a chance to close it out here in Boston. No, the Bruins have life, but Willie Nee has 10 points in 5 games. Now the Islanders with a chance to win it in Carolina. Will the Hurricanes be able to win a game at home and get themselves back in this series? No, they cannot! Oh my goodness. The 52-win 3rd seed Carolina Hurricanes have been knocked out of round number 1 in 5 games by the 39-win 15th seed New York Islanders. The 2 teams through so far, the 2 New York teams, the Rangers and the Islanders, are through. Oh, wow. Can't wait to see the stats in that one after we finish up round number 1. Now, every series has a chance to be ended in this next game. Vegas with a 3-2 series lead over Dallas. Can they end it in 6 in Las Vegas, or will they head back to Dallas for a Game 7? Game 6 now, it's going to 7 as Dallas fights back on the road to force a Game 7. Same thing for Nashville now. Can they force Game 7, or can Vancouver close it out on the road? Yes, they can. Vancouver punches their ticket in 6 games through to round number 2 as the Predators are eliminated in 6 games. Now the Panthers and the Lightning. Can the Panthers eliminate the Lightning here in Game 6? No, they cannot. We're going to 7 in that series as well. I think that's a very likely result in the real world as well. Winnipeg versus Colorado. The Avalanche have a chance to end it here in Game 6. No, they cannot, as the Jets also force a Game 7. Can the Kings force a Game 7 now against Edmonton? No, they cannot. The Oilers are through in 6 games as the Kings have been eliminated. Now the Bruins and the Maple Leafs. Can the Bruins force Game 7 here? Yes, they can! Will the Maple Leafs choke a 3-1 series lead? All right, Game 7 now for the last 4 series. Vegas versus Dallas. It all comes down to this. I forgot to mention I'll also be going into any Game 7. So we'll simulate here. Any Game 7 will be simulated as well in any round. Vegas versus Dallas. Winner takes all going through the second round. First period, 3-1 Vegas. Stankoven opens it up, and then Hurdle scores twice, and Dorofeev makes it 3-1. Second period, 5-1 Marchessault and Haig. It's a 4-goal deficit for Dallas, outshot 29-11 through 40 minutes, and I think that'll be all she wrote as Vegas has a 4-goal lead, and I think we'll have to call it there. Unfortunate. 6-2 the final. Mason Marchman gave a little bit of life, but Marchessault crushed it. Shots end 39-21, and the Dallas Stars drop Game 7 to be eliminated as the number 1 seed in the Central Division. The 52-win 2nd seed Dallas Stars in the league get eliminated here in round number 1. So the 2 and the 3 seed both eliminated there. All right, in terms of the entire league standings. Lightning and Panthers now in Game 7 as well. The 5th seed versus the 13th seed on paper. It's been a tight series through and through. First period, Panthers up 2-0, Montour and Tkachuk. Second period, 2-2. Stamkos on the power play, and Connor Sheary ties it up. Shots are tied, goals are tied. It's going to come down to the final 20 minutes to determine who goes through. Sam Bennett makes it 3-2 Panthers, but now Anthony Duclair there, ties it right back up on the power play. Lightning power play opportunity again, this time killed off halfway through the third. We're all tied up at 3 once more, but it's Vladimir Tarasenko, the deadline acquisition, who puts Florida up 4-3. Will that be enough, or can Tampa Bay fight back in the final minute? And Lundell will add the empty netter to push Florida through to round number 2. The Lightning have been eliminated in round number 1 in a 7-game Battle of Florida. Okay, next up, Avalanche versus Jets. We knew this one was going to 7. The two 50-plus win teams in second and third of the Central Division. May the best team win. First period here in Winnipeg, 1-0 Jets. It's Nemesnikov starting it off. Second period, no scoring. Jets have a 1-0 lead headed into the final 20 minutes. Shots are 22-21 for Colorado. It will be a tight finish. Power play Avalanche here. That's killed off by the Jets, but then Ross Colton scores even strength soon after the power play expires. The Avalanche are running away a little bit with the shots, but hold on. The Jets aren't done yet as Sean Monahan, the almost deadline acquisition, gives them the go-ahead goal. Will that be enough with 5 minutes to go? The Avalanche with already 35 shots on net. Hellebuyck getting pelted in there, but he holds it down, and the Winnipeg Jets have eliminated the Colorado Avalanche 2-1 in Game 7. What a series that was. Wow, and now we come down to the final game of round number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Will the Leafs choke the 3-1 series lead? Will the Bruins be able to come back? This is a tale as old as time in both the simulation and the real world. Or will Toronto be able to say, no, it's 2 consecutive years of us going through to round number 2. First period here at TD Garden, it's a 0-0 tie after 20. Second period, 1-0 Maple Leafs. It's John Tavares, the captain, puts up the Maple Leafs over Jeremy Swayman, who's in nets, and the Bruins. Shots are 22-16 for Toronto after 40. Power play Maple Leafs early in the third, killed off. Power play Bruins now, killed off as well. 5 minutes in. Hold on, it's Danton Heinen tying it up. We have a good game here. We have hold on, it's Brad Marchand making it 2-1. You can just imagine Jack Edwards going after this one. Brad Marchand puts the Bruins up with 5 minutes to go in the third period. Will they choke it? Power play Bruins, final minute. And the Boston Bruins have eliminated the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are up 3-1 in the series and up 1-0 in this game until the third period. 2 goals in the third from Danton Heinen and Brad Marchand, both at even strength, give the Boston Bruins the Game 7 victory, despite being outshot 36-24. The Bruins are through to round number 2. So we'll have Winnipeg versus Vegas, Vancouver versus Edmonton in an all-Canadian matchup, Florida versus Boston in a rematch of round 1 last year, and the Rangers versus the Islanders. Whew. All right, let's take a second to recap the stats after round number 1. Let's go through the teams here, starting alphabetically with Boston. 8 points in 7 games from David Pastrnak, 6 from Marchand and Geeky. Lalko with 5. Look at that. Trent Frederick, Charlie McAvoy with 5. Okay. And goaltending, Jeremy Swayman 4-3, 909 save percentage, 3.45 goals against average. The Hurricanes, who got eliminated by the Islanders in 5 games, no one even at point per game or really that close to point per game. 3 players who had 3 points in 5 games, and that's it. Only 1 player who scored more than 1 goal, Jake Gensel, scoring 2 goals and 3 points. This was an incredibly, shockingly disappointing show from the Hurricanes, and you really got to hope that this doesn't happen to them in the real world if you're a Hurricanes fan. But yeah, Svechnikov 1 goal in 5 games, stuff like that. Whoa. And goaltending, Freddie Anderson went 1-2, 2 losses in overtime, and a .920 save percentage, 2.44 goals against average. So it was just the scoring that didn't come through. The goaltending was fine enough. Yikes. The Avalanche, they lost in Game 7, but Nate McKinnon had 8 points in 7 games. He quieted down in Games 5, 6, and 7, I suppose. He had 8 and 4. Rantanen with 6, Lehkonen, Drouin, Makar with 5, Casey Middlestat with 4. Looking at the goaltending, it was Georgiev going 3 and 4, 898 save percentage, 3.3 goals against average. Dallas Stars, who also got eliminated in round number 1. Jason Robertson, 9 points in 7 games. Joe Pavelski, at 39 years of age, 8 points in 7. Rupe Hintz, point per game. Sagan, 5. Faxa, Marchment, Steele, Lundqvist, Ben, Heiskanen, all with 4 points. Jake Ottinger, 3-2-2. Again, 2 overtime losses. Heartbreakers with 1 shutout. 920 save percentage and 2.76 goals against average. Edmonton Oilers, who are through to round number 2. Draisaitl, Hyman, and Bouchard, all point per game. Henrique, 5. Of course, Connor McDavid can never simulate well. 5 points in 6 games for him. McLeod, Nugent Hopkins, Kane, 3 points there. Stuart Skinner, 4-2 with an 887 save percentage. Not that impressive. 3.21 goals against average. The Florida Panthers, who are through Anton Lundell, 7 points in 7 games. Tarasenko, great pickup, 6 and 7. Reinhart, no goals for the 50-plus goal scorer, but 6 assists. Luostarinen, 6. Barkov, 5. All right. And goaltending, Bobrovsky went 4-2-1, 924 save percentage, and 2.4 goals against average. LA Kings, Trevor Moore, 8 points in 6 games for his eliminated efforts, unfortunately. Point per game from Kopitar, Danault, and Kempe with 6 in 6. And goaltending, it was Cam Talbot going 2-3-1 with a shutout, 918 save percentage, 3.11 goals against. David Riddick came in relief a little bit. He saw 15 shots and made 14 saves. All right, on to the Nashville Predators, who lost in 6 games. Nyquist and Forsberg with 5 points each, both -9. Oh my goodness. Zucker and Yossi both with 4. Mike McCarron tied for goal scoring lead with 3. And Jussi Saros went 2-4 with a .907 save percentage with 3.35 goals against average. New York Islanders, who are through, their scoring wasn't even that good. It was just the scoring for the Hurricanes were even worse. It was even worse, but maybe it was Sorokin. Barzal, 4 points. Nelson, 4 points in 5 games. No one doing anything that really stands out to me. Not at all. And for the goaltending, well, here you go. Here you go. Ilya Sorokin, who might even lose some starts to Semyon Varlamov in the real world. 4-1 with a .952 save percentage and 1.68 goals against average. There you have it. New York Rangers, who are also through, 5 points in 5 games from Panarin, 4 from Goodrow, Lafreniere, Kako, and Zibanejad. Goaltending, Shesterkin went 4-1, 1 shutout, .925 save percentage, and 2 goals against average. Tampa Bay Lightning, who lost in 7, Stamkos and Point, both point per game. Nikita Kucherov, 6 goals in 7 games. He did what he could, a game winner as well. Anthony Duclair had 2 game winners out of his 3 goals. Hagel, 6 points on top of that. 6 assists for him, 6 goals for Kucherov. The scoring was there for the most part in Tampa Bay. Vasilevsky, he did okay. 3-3-1 with a shutout, .920 save percentage, 2.69 goals against average. Toronto Maple Leafs, who choke it big time. Nylander with 12 points in 7 games. Tavares with 9. Marner with 8. Austin Matthews, 1 goal. Only 1 goal and 6 points in 7 games for the 69-goal scorer. Bertuzzi, 5. Nyes, 5. Down the list there. And goaltending, Samsonov went 3-4 with an .897 save percentage and 3.32 goals against average. Vancouver Canucks, who are through, 8 points in 6 games from their captain Quinn Hughes, 6 and 6 from Pettersson, 4 goals from Ilya Mikheyev to lead the team in goal scoring, and it's Thatcher Demko, who went 4-2 with a .906 save percentage and 2.67 goals against average. Vegas Golden Knights, they are through as they beat Dallas, 9 points in 7 games from Jonathan Marchessault, Eichel with 8, Hurdle with 5, same for Stevenson, Carlson. I guess Mark Stone is not in the lineup for Vegas. Is he going to come back? It's definitely possible. Hey, what is this glitch? It's definitely possible, but I guess the game doesn't know just yet, and that's fair. So Vegas even won without Mark Stone being in the lineup just yet. And Aiden Hill went 4-3, and not even good numbers. .898 save percentage, 3.21 goals against. Thompson came in relief and didn't look good. So Vegas, Dallas had to just pick it up a little bit, I suppose. Washington, who lost in 5 games, 4 points from Wilson and Strome. Alex Ovechkin, yikes, 2 assists, no goals, 2 assists in 5 games from Ovi. You got to think that he's going to put the team on his back in the real world, but ouch. Goaltending, Charlie Lindgren went 1-4 with 1 shutout. His numbers aren't even that bad compared to what you would think with that scoring. .912 save percentage, 3.22 goals against average. And finally, the Winnipeg Jets, who beat the Avalanche, 7 points in 7 games from Kyle Connor, 6 from Velarde and Scheifele. And when it came to the goaltending, Connor Hellebuyck went 4-3 with 1 shutout, .908 save percentage, and 2.93 goals against average. So on we go now to round number 2, starting off with Vegas versus Winnipeg, 2 teams who just won a Game 7 against their respective opponents. Let's do it. Game 1, round 2 between the Jets and the Golden Knights, and the Jets take Game 1 in Winnipeg, mind you, as well, since they have the home ice advantage here, as the 4 seed versus the 14 seed. Now, Edmonton, the 9 seed versus Vancouver, the 6 seed. So Vancouver with home ice advantage as the 6 seed, of course. Both teams coming off of a 6-game series victory, and it's an all-Canadian matchup here in round number 2. Game 1 going to the Oilers as they win it to go up 1-0 on the road. Now, Boston versus Florida. Florida with home ice advantage. The 5 seed versus the 7 seed. This is a tough one, and once again, 2 teams are coming off of a Game 7 victory. Boston, of course, with that massive comeback. Game 1, Panthers and Bruins, and the Bruins win Game 1 on the road. And now finally, the Rangers and the Islanders, the 1 seed versus the 15 seed. The Islanders just beat the 3 seed in in the Hurricanes. So see what they can do now on the road against the number 1 seed, the President's Trophy winners. Battle of New York here, Rangers versus Islanders. It's a classic. Game 1 at Madison Square Garden, and the Islanders continue to win as they are now 5-1 on the season. 1-0 series lead for the Islanders. All right, Game 2 now between the Jets and the Golden Knights. Jets up 1-0 with the home ice victory there. Game 2 at home, and they win it once again. 2-0 series lead for Winnipeg, headed to Las Vegas. Now, Edmonton, they're up 1-0, having won on the road. Can Vancouver win Game 2 and cut both games at home, headed towards the Edmonton side of things? No! The Oilers win both games on the road, now 6-2, and they're up 2-0, headed back to Edmonton. Vancouver in big trouble. Same case now for Boston versus Florida. Can the Bruins win both games on the road, headed back to Boston, or can Florida get back into this? And they do. It's going to be a best of 5 now. Can we see the Rangers get into things now before we head over to Long Island? Let's see it. Game 2 for the Rangers to get back into it, and they do. It's both series in the West now 2-0, and both series in the East tied at 1. Jets up 2-0, headed to Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena, and the Jets take a 3-0 series lead now. It's going to be very hard for Vegas to come back from that one. Winnipeg looking very, very strong. 2-0 series lead for the Oilers. Can the Vancouver Canucks now win on the road? They're 4-4 in this postseason. Oilers are 6-2. Game 3 goes to the Canucks. They win on the road to give themselves a chance now. Panthers and Bruins, it's a best of 5. Can we see who's going to take the early lead in this series? It's the Bruins winning at home, up 2-1 in their series. And now finally the Rangers and the Islanders. The Islanders won Game 1, but the Rangers won Game 2. Can they keep momentum on Long Island? Yes, they can. Rangers up 2-1. So the Jets now have a chance for the first and only sweep. The Vegas Golden Knights are 4-6 at this point. Winnipeg 7-3 and on a 4-game winning streak, I think at least. Going back to the last series, I forget what happened in Game 6, but simming through this game in Vegas, and Winnipeg closes it out on the road to win Game 4 and sweep their way to the Western Conference Final, where it will once again be an all-Canadian matchup, either against Vancouver or against Edmonton. Let's see if it's going to be a best of 3 series, or if Edmonton can go up 3-1, and they cannot. It'll be a best of 3, as we're once again seeing the road team with lots of victories. Oilers win both on the road, and the Canucks win both on the road. It's a 2-2 series. Now, can the Panthers also tie up their series, or will the Bruins go up 3-1? The Bruins are up 13 points in 11 games for Pastrnak, and the Bruins will have a chance to end it back in Florida for Game 5. The Rangers now, can they go up 3-1 in their series? Yes, they can. So similar to the Islanders and the Hurricanes, the Islanders lost Game 1, but then won the next 4. So the Islanders, after having won Game 1, have lost 3 in a row, and the Rangers might do the same as they did to the Capitals, lose Game 1, but then the gentleman's sweep. So one round is over with a 4-0 sweep, one tied at 2, and the other 2 are 3-1. Who's going to take the 3-2 lead? Both teams are 6-4 between the Oilers and the Canucks. Let's see it for Game 6 in Edmonton. Game 5 in Vancouver. My apologies. And Vancouver wins it on home ice to go up 3-2, now headed to Game 6 in Edmonton. Now, can the Bruins win it in Florida here in Game 5? This would be quite the upset, and they do! Not just for winning the series, but in 5 games. The 52-win Florida Panthers are eliminated in 5 games in round number 2, as the Bruins are through to the Eastern Conference Final to face either the Rangers or the Islanders. Let's find out here. We might be able to say it after 5 games, and yes, we can. The Rangers have back-to-back gentlemen's sweeps, as they lose Game 1 to the Caps and win 4 in a row, then lose Game 1 to the Islanders and win 4 in a row. We'll have an Eastern Conference Final of the Bruins and the Rangers. Over in the West, it'll be Winnipeg versus either Vancouver or Edmonton. We'll find out here. Game 6. Will we see Game 7? No, we will not. The Canucks close it out in 6, and we are on to the conference finals, where it will be the Canucks versus the Jets and the Rangers versus the Bruins. The EA Sim had Vancouver playing Boston, so we'll see what happens here. After round number 2, let's check out the point totals of the teams that were remaining. So the Bruins are through the Eastern Conference Final, and through 12 games, David Pastrnak has 13 points. Marchand also point per game at 12. Heinen and Zacha both with 9 points in 12 games. Goaltending still just Swayman? Yes, just Swayman. He's 8-4 with a .917 save percentage and 2.96 goals against average. Next, we have the Edmonton Oilers. Through 12 games, Evan Bouchard was point per game at time of elimination. Draisaitl and Hyman both with 11 points. Of course, McDavid only 9 points in 12 games. Ridiculous. Henrique 8, Kane, Nuge both with 7. Goaltending, Stuart Skinner went 6-6 with an .881 save percentage. Ouch. 3.47 goals against average. Calvin Pickard, or I guess I should say Pickard, but I always say Pickard, 27 saves on 27 shots that he faced. Maybe he should have played a little bit more. So, all right, there's Edmonton. They're eliminated. Panthers also eliminated. Sam Reinhart, 10 points in 12 games. Sam Reinhart had 3 goals and an assist in that series, I believe. Lundell, 9. Tarasenko, Barkov, Luosterainen, all with 8. And goaltending, it was Bobrovsky going 5, 4, and 3. 3 overtime losses in those 2 rounds. 915 save percentage, 2.68 goals against average. Even like Kachuk, only 5 points in 12 games. Islanders now. In 10 games, Matty Barzal, 8 points. Same for Jean-Gabriel Pajot. Engvall had 7 points. Nelson and Lee both with 6. Not a ton of high-end scoring there for the Islanders. It was Sorokin who carried them. Even though they got eliminated, Sorokin was 5-4-1 with a 923 save percentage and 2.72 goals against average. Varlamov stopping all 3 shots that he faced. Next on to the Rangers, who are through. Zibanejad and Panarin both with 11 points in 10 games. Kreider 10 in 10. Trocheck and Fox both with 9. Lafreniere, Goudreau, Kakko, VC all with 6 down there. Shesterkin 8 and 2 with 2 shutouts. 925 save percentage. 2.08 goals against average. I would say he's the best goalie remaining stats-wise, as now we have Sorokin eliminated. So Shesterkin looking great over there. Now on to Vancouver, who are through. Quinn Hughes, the captain, 12 points in 12 games. EP 40, Elias Pettersson with 12. Brock Besser, 7 goals and 11 points in 12 games. Mikheyev, 9. Miller, 9. Hronik. Elias Lindholm, the pickup there with 8. Dakota Joshua, what a season he had. Thatcher Demko, 8-3-1 with a 912 save percentage and 2.6 goals against average. Now on to Vegas, who got eliminated. 11 points in 11 games for Marchessault and Eichel. Some very, very ugly plus-minuses. Hurdle, Carlson, Stevenson, all with 7 points. In goaltending, Aiden Hill, 4 and 7 each with 882 save percentage and 3.79 goals against average. Finally, the Winnipeg Jets, 11 points in 11 games from Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele, 10 in 11 from Toffoli and Ehlers, Velarde, Morrissey, both with 9, 8 from Monahan, Connor Hellebuyck, 8-3-0 with a shutout, 926 save percentage, and 2.43 goals against average. All right, so we are now through the conference finals, ladies and gentlemen. The 4th seed Jets facing the 6th seed Canucks, so Winnipeg has home ice, and the 1st seed Rangers facing the 7th seed Bruins. So if all the teams make the postseason, from 1st seed Rangers to 17th seed Capitals, we have 1, 4, 6, and 7 remaining. Game 1 of the Western Conference Final in Winnipeg in the All-Canadian matchup. We'll have a Canadian team back in the Stanley Cup Final, but which one will it be? Let's do it. Game 1 goes to Winnipeg. 14 points in 12 games now, 10 goals from Kyle Connor as Winnipeg wins Game 1 at home in front of the fans. The Rangers are 8-2, the Bruins are 8-4. Here at Madison Square Garden for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final, the President's Trophy Rangers want to keep fighting their way to the top, but the Bruins have a lot to play for as well. Game 1 here in New York, and the Rangers take Game 1 at home to lead 1-0 in their series as well. So the favorite up in both series through the first game. Game 2 now between the Jets and the Canucks. Can Winnipeg win both games at home? No, they cannot. They'll split the games at home as Vancouver wins Game 2, and we'll have a best of 5 headed back to Vancouver. Can the Bruins do the same, or will the Rangers get their 10th win of the postseason? No, the Bruins do exactly the same, as they will also have a best of 5 headed back to Boston. 15 points in 14 games from David Pastrnak. Game 3 now, the Western Conference Final in Vancouver. Home ice advantage for the Canucks, and that will be enough to get them the victory as they lose Game 1, but then win Games 2 and 3 to now be up in their series. The Rangers, can they win on the road, or the Bruins have momentum at TD Garden? The Bruins have exactly that. So after the favorite won Game 1 in both series, the underdog won Games 2 and 3 also in both series. Kyle Connor, 12 goals in 14 games. All right, 2-1 series for Vancouver, 2-1 series for Boston. Are these two teams just on a collision course? We'll find out. Let's do it now. Game 4, to go up 3-1. Can the Canucks do it? Yes, they can! 3-1 series despite the 17 points in 15 games from Kyle Connor. The Canucks now have a 3-1 series lead after losing Game 1. Can the Bruins do the same and keep mirroring what the Canucks are doing? No, the Rangers are going to put a stop to that now and have a 2-2 series. It's a best of 3 in the East. but now with a chance to close it out. I think at this point in the conference finals, with the next win to go to the Stanley Cup Final, I think we'll hop into these. Let's check it out. Can the Canucks close it out in Winnipeg, or do the Jets still have life? First period, whoa, it was 1-0. Then a huge comeback from the Jets. Zadorov opens it up, then Nemestikov, Ehlers, Connor, and Toffoli make it 4-1 Winnipeg. Second period, fourth, the Canucks come back. Höglander and Lindholm, 4-3 game. The Canucks are only down by 1 with a chance to push themselves through to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2011, 13 years later. 4-3 Canucks power play chance here, killed off by the Jets halfway through the third period. They're up by 1, holding on tight at home, but they'll stop. Hold on! Nils Höglander scores his second. That makes it a 4-4 game. Power play Vancouver late, killed off by Winnipeg, and we're headed to overtime. A goal for Winnipeg pushes this to Game 6. A goal for Vancouver will put them through to the Stanley Cup Final. And Vancouver will have to wait a little bit longer as Tyler Toffoli wins it 56 seconds into overtime to win it 5-4 for Winnipeg, and they survive to make it a 3-2 series. 2-2 series for the Bruins and the Rangers. Now a pivotal Game 5 coming up, and it will go to the Bruins, who win on the road to now be up 3-2. 23 points in 17 games from David Pastrnak. Now, with one more chance the Canucks have to close it out before having to see a scary Game 7, can they do it at home in front of the fans to go through to the Stanley Cup Final? First period, 1-0 Sean Monahan. Second period, 2-1 Myers and Suter scoring twice for the Canucks. 2-1, make it 3-1 as Patrick Kane Suter, if you know, you know, makes it 3-1 for Vancouver. 2-1, a 2-goal lead for the Canucks. Power play opportunity for Vancouver. Very extended opportunity, but it's killed off by Winnipeg, who now have a power play of their own. Squandered. 2-goal lead remains. But hold on, Toffoli cuts the deficit to 1. Final 5 minutes. Winnipeg has life in the final 2 minutes. Will it be enough into the final minute? But no, the Vancouver Canucks are through to the 2024 Stanley Cup Final as they eliminate the Winnipeg Jets in 6 games. Now the question will be, is it just a date that's been waiting ever since 2011? Here in the 2024 Stanley Cup Final, will Boston face Vancouver once again, or can the President's Trophy Rangers push a Game 7? Let's find out. Game 6 here in Boston. This is a big one in the name of history. First period, it's 2-0 Rangers, Trocheck and Lafreniere. Okay? Second period, 3-1. Trocheck makes it 3-0, but Danton Heinen gets one on the board for Boston. Shots are 30-16 for the Rangers, almost double in New York's favor. They have a 2-goal lead here in the third period. Quickly cut to 1 as Zacha makes it 3-2, but then Brad Marchand ties it up at 3 with still 15 minutes to go. 3-3 game. The Bruins just about 10 minutes away. Hold on! Trent Frederick makes it 4-3. The Bruins are now truly just 8 minutes away from a Stanley Cup Final. Another one for this dynasty over the last decade plus. 3 minutes to go for the Bruins. Can the Rangers fight back in the final minute? No, the Bruins are through! And it's a 2011 rematch between the Canucks and the Bruins. Just as EA predicted in their simulation. This is very rare now. The Canucks and the Bruins will meet. A matchup just destined in the stars. 2024 Stanley Cup Final, Bruins and Canucks. Let's check out the points after these conference finals and get ready for an exciting one. Oh my. So on the Bruins, 25 points in 18 games now from David Pastrnak. Danton Heinen with 17 points. What a surprise there. Marchand with 6, 3 of his goals, with 16, 3 of his 6 goals as game winners. Zacha also 16, DeBrusk 13, Coyle, Geeky, McAvoy, all down the list here if you're curious to see what's going on here for the Bruins. And now if we look at the goaltending, Jeremy Swayman, 12-6, 9.11 save percentage, 3.14 goals against average. A little bit concerning there, I would say. Now looking at the New York Rangers, who were eliminated by Boston. 20 points in 16 games from Artemi Panarin, 18 from Adam Fox, point per game from Trocheck, who led the team in goals with 8, 15 points from Kreider, who also had 7 goals, Zibanejad 14, Lafreniere with 10, Wenberg, Cooley, Kakko, all down the list here for your curiosity. I don't know why it doesn't go further than that. On the right, it says there's more to scroll, but I guess that's it. And Shesterkin, so how the mighty have fallen, torn apart by the Bruins. His, a 920 save percentage? He ends 9-6 with 2 shutouts, 891 save percentage, and 3.09 goals against average. This is not just getting pulled. Well, I don't know. I wonder if the AI gave any starts to Jonathan Quick. But Quick faced 49 shots. He only allowed 3 goals. 938 save percentage from the veteran who came in at least in relief a few times. 3 appearances from Jonathan Quick. I would think Shesterkin got pulled 3 times. Wow. And the Rangers are out. Now on to Vancouver. They're through the Stanley Cup Final. Pettersson with 19 points in 18 games. Hughes with 16. Besser, 9 goals and 15 points. Lindholm, 14. Mikheyev and JT Miller both with 13. Garland, Hronek, Joshua, and down the list here if you're curious about everything going on in Vancouver. And Thatcher Demko, 12, 4, and 2 with an .899 save percentage and 2.99 goals against average. Finally, the Winnipeg Jets, who were eliminated. Kyle Connor had, even Tyler Toffoli, both had combined, they had 26 goals in 17 games combined, 13 goals apiece in 17 games, 19 points for Toffoli, the deadline pickup, 18 from Connor. Ehlers also with 18 as well. Monahan, Scheifele, and Morrissey all with 14. Velarde, Nemestikov, Appleton, down the list we go there. And for the goaltending, Hellebuck ended 10-6-1 with 1 shutout, .916 save percentage, and 2.72 goals against average. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we are on our way now to the 2024 Stanley Cup Final with a 2011 rematch. 13 years later, after the Bruins broke the hearts of so many in Vancouver. Both teams are 12-6. It's a great matchup here if you look at the team stats especially. Both teams 12-6. The Bruins have scored just 3 goals more, 67-64. Both teams have allowed exactly 57 goals. Both teams, similar power play percentages. Neither are crazy. 13.5 for Vancouver, 17.3 for Boston. Penalty kills, better for Vancouver, 86.5 versus 81.8 for Boston. But again, small sample size for both power play and penalty kill. Okay, so now this is interesting. Home ice advantage will go to the Canucks as the 6th seed, and Boston was the 7th seed. Vancouver, 4-5 at home, but 8-1 on the road. Meanwhile, Boston 7-2 at home, 5-4 on the road. Very interesting. We'll see how that plays into things. Last 10 doesn't really mean too much, but we'll see how that plays into things. Very, very interesting. So let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. The 2024 Stanley Cup Final starting here in Vancouver. We're going to go game by game through this final. It's going to be an exciting one. Let's get it started. Game number 1. First period, 3-2 Vancouver early. Peak and Heinen score the first couple goals within the first minute 40. Then Höglander, Hughes, and Pettersson on the power play get the lead in Vancouver's favor. Second period, now 4-3 Vancouver. Blueger made it 4-2, but then Geekie on the power play cuts it to 1. Shots 25-23. JT Miller extends the lead to 2. 5-3 Vancouver. Now into the final 12 minutes or so. They're pulling away in the shots a little bit. Makes it 6-3 now. Will that be enough? A 3-goal lead? Yeah, I think that'll be enough. This one ends 7-3. Quinn Hughes, Ilya Mikheyev, and JT Miller, 3 goals in the third period. Shots end 37-31, and Vancouver have a huge statement Game 1 victory, scoring 7 goals, all on a goaltender. No empty netters or anything. 7 goals. Home ice advantage still in Vancouver's favor. They've been better on the road, but they win Game 1 by a large margin. Boston will not want to let that slide. They're going to get back into this series right away, tied up, make it a best of 5, headed back to TD Garden. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. First period, 2-0 Vancouver early. Garland and Suter make it 2-0. Second period, now 2-2 as the Bruins answer. Danton Heinen, what a beast he's been. Short-handed and then even strength. 2 goals for him in that period. Shots are 19-17 for Vancouver after 40, but it's a 2-2 game. Make it 3-2 as the captain puts Vancouver ahead. Quinn Hughes putting Vancouver ahead by 1 now. Shots are 24-22. Höglander making it 4-2. Could they win both games at home before they head onto the road? A place in which they have an even better record. 5-2 shorthanded goal from Zadorov of all people. And the Canucks will win 5-2, taking both games at home before they head to the road now. Boston headed back home. They have a good record at home, but the Canucks have an even better record on the road. And they're coming off of a couple of scary games here. We've seen teams come back from down 2-0, but they're going to need a big game here at TD Garden in Boston to put themselves back in this series. Bruins now at home hosting the Vancouver Canucks for Game 3. First period, 1-0 Bruins. Danton, Heinen, who else but Heinen? 1-0 Bruins after 20. Second period, make it 2-0. David Pastrnak on the power play. It's Pastrnak and Heinen doing it all here. 2-0 Bruins. They have the home lead, the lead at home, Brad Marchand, just those 3. Marchand, Pastrnak, and Heinen. Power play Vancouver goes nowhere. Power play Boston goes nowhere, but Carlos scores just as it expires. 4-0 Bruins. Power play Vancouver late. Extended opportunity even. A very extended opportunity, like 6 minutes of power play, but they can't get anything on 32 shots as Jeremy Swayman shuts them down for a 4-0 victory. The Bruins have life. They were down 3-1 to the Leafs. They know how to come back. 2-1 series now, and they're looking to win another one on at home before they head back on the road to Vancouver. Can they tie this series at 2 and make it a best of 3 after that initial scare? Big shutout victory in Game 3, but the Canucks won't be happy about that. First period, and the Canucks cannot come out hot. The Bruins are leading shots 16-9 after 20. Second period now, no scoring it remains. Shots 25-18 for Boston, but 0-0 after 40. Third period, the first goal is going to be a big one. Power play Vancouver. That's a power play goal from Elias Pettersson. Canucks still in the power play, and they'll add another one. Brock Besser, that is 10th of the postseason. 2-0 Vancouver now in the halfway through the third period. Power play Vancouver again, 5-on-3, 5-on-4. Too many penalties from Boston. 2-0 Vancouver. After they got shut out 4-0 in Boston, they shut out the Bruins 2-0 in Boston. Shots ending 33-30. Thatcher Demko makes a 33-save shutout, and the Canucks now have a chance to win the Stanley Cup up 3-1 back in Vancouver on home ice. Wow. The Bruins have come back from down 3-1 before, but can they do it again here in the Stanley Cup Final? Do they have enough gas left in the tank? 28 points in 22 games from David Pastrnak. Danton Heinen's been huge, but the Canucks have had good, well-dispersed and shared offense here. Here we go. Game 5 of the 2024 Stanley Cup Final. The Canucks having a chance to end it and win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history and the first for a Canadian team since 1993. 31 years later. First period, 0-0 after 20, shots 14-9 for Boston. Second period, 2-1 Bruins. Myers opens up the scoring, but then Coyle and McAvoy make it 2-1 before the end of the period. Shots are 23-20 for Boston through 40. 2-1 game for the Bruins. They lead by 1 here in Vancouver. The Canucks have 15 minutes to change that and try to win the cup here at home before they have to try to do it in Boston or possibly in Game 7. Halfway through the period, power play Bruins killed off by the Canucks into the final 5 minutes. Is there a hero in Vancouver to tie this game up and push it to overtime? Final minute! And no, there will not. The Bruins hang on for the big 2-1 victory as Jeremy Swayman makes 30 saves on 32 shots, and the Bruins have life. 3-2 series headed back to Boston, where the Canucks can still close it out in 6, but the Bruins are a little bit closer to pushing this series to 7. At TD Garden, here we go. Game 6 of the 2024 Stanley Cup Final. Bruins win, they push it to 7 back in Vancouver. Canucks win, the Stanley Cup is theirs. First period, 1-0 Bruins, it's Danton Heinen. Second period, 2-1 Bruins. Geekie makes it 2-0. Then Garland on the power play gets Vancouver back in this game. Shots are 23-21 for Vancouver after 40. Power play early for the Canucks. Killed off. Power play Bruins. It's David Pastrnak making it 3-1. Power play Bruins again now. Extended opportunity. I think it was just a regular one. But now another power play for Boston. Killed off once more. 2-goal lead for the Bruins here at home. If they can hang on tight, they'll push Game 7. The Bruins on the power play again. This time killed off once more. Power play Vancouver late, but too little too late. The Bruins hang on for the 3-1 victory. Jeremy Swayman once again standing on his head, making 33 saves on 34 shots. Yeah, first star honors for him. 3-1 Bruins. They came back down 3-1 in round number 1. Now they're back 3-3 series in the Stanley Cup Final. So the EA simulation had Vancouver beating Boston in 7. Now here we are. Could it be exactly the same thing? Could we have the exact same sim as EA? I think that would mean Vancouver fans get excited. But it's not over yet. The Bruins have fought back to force Game 7. Now can they change fate? Both teams are 15-9. One team will end 16-9. The other will end 15-10. Here in Vancouver for Game 7, the Stanley Cup is in the building. The winner of this game wins Lord Stanley. Ladies and gentlemen, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. First period, 2-2 after 20. Pastrnak and then Lindholm shorthanded, opening it up 2-0 Bruins within the first 10 minutes. But then in the final 5 minutes or so, Höglander and Besser tied it up. Shots are 10-9 for Vancouver after 20. Second period now. Whoa! 6-3 Canucks! Will that be enough? Elias Pettersson, even strength. Brock Besser, 44 seconds later, even strength. Lalko makes it 4-3, but then Mikheyev 5-3, and Pia Suter 6-3. Shots are 23-20, and after Jeremy Swayman did so much in this series, the floodgates are opening up just a little bit, and the Canucks have a 3-goal lead, 20 minutes away from the Stanley Cup. Could the Bruins fight back? Power play Bruins. There's Danton Heinen. If anyone's going to fight, it's Danton. 6-4 game. Hold on, Canucks power play now to restore the 3-goal lead. No, they cannot. Killed off by the Bruins. 10 minutes to go, and the Bruins still find themselves down by 2 here in Vancouver. Final 5 minutes of this one. The Canucks hanging on to their 2-goal lead into the final 2 minutes. Final minute now, we're going to hop in for this. With 57 seconds left to go, the Canucks are up by 2 and just a minute away from the Stanley Cup. Goalie pulled now for the Bruins. McAvoy in front, Pastrnak. Good chance there in tight, 30 seconds to go. Zacha with a chance, it's Danton Heinen. Glove save, Demko. Into the final 5 seconds now. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 Stanley Cup champions are the Vancouver Canucks. The Stanley Cup has returned to Canada 31 years later. And the Vancouver Canucks, in their 53rd season, 53 years later, their 4th Stanley Cup Final appearance, they lost in 82, they lost in 94, they lost in 2011, and now they win in 2024. Meanwhile, the Bruins, who won the Cup back in 2011, who's our Conn Smythe winner? It'll be Elias Pettersson with 27 points. The Bruins won the Cup in 2011 against the Canucks, but since then have lost in 3 Stanley Cup Finals, 2013, 2019, and now 2024. So the Canucks ultimately get their revenge and their first cup in franchise history. Vancouver, great segue into our franchise mode series. We're currently doing a series here on the channel of the Vancouver Canucks. We're in the 2030s by now, but if you want to join in, it's a great time to hop into the series. And there is Quinn Hughes called over by Big Gary. Bettman looking very well. Big Gary gives it to Quinn, who raises it over his head in front of the Vancouver faithful. The Canucks are Stanley Cup champions, and Captain Quinn raises Lord Stanley in Vancouver. Everybody gather around now, get in here for what will be quite a picture. Big smiles, and let's snap a good one. It will last a lifetime. All of those names, could those be the names on Lord Stanley come a couple months from now? We will see. So the Vancouver Canucks win the Stanley Cup. I am truly shocked that we have the exact same Stanley Cup final result as EA. The Canucks beat the Bruins in a 7-game series. That is shocking. So David Pastrnak, despite his 31 points in 25 games, did not win the Conn Smythe. 4 more points than Pettersson, but Pettersson gets it as, I suppose, the team winning the Stanley Cup. He was a +10. The game seems to care about plus-minus when it comes to that. In the end, the Bruins, 31 points from Pastrnak, yes. 14 goals and 24 points from Danton Heinen, 23 points from Zacha, 21 from Marchand, and we scroll down the list here for all Bruins scoring if you're curious in seeing that. Goaltending, Jeremy Swayman ended 15-10, 1 shutout, .909 save percentage, 3.15 goals against average. Over for the Vancouver Canucks now, we look at them. Of course, Elias Pettersson winning the Conn Smythe Trophy, 27 points in 25 games. Hughes point per game with 25. Brock Besser, 12 goals, 22 points. Miller, 12. Garland Mikheyev, 17. And down the list we go here for everyone else in Vancouver. Ian Cole gets his ring, another ring, I should say. And Demko went 16-7-2 with 1 shutout, .904 save percentage, and 2.92 goals against average. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 postseason, according to EA simulation and according to my simulation through EA. So it seems like it's pretty much a lock that the Vancouver Canucks are beating the Bruins in a 7-game series. Now, what are your predictions? Let me know down here in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more simulations, league simulations, player simulations, the Macklin Celebrini sim coming soon, of course. We have I believe we have 25 simulations from NHL 20 to 24 of different players. Bedard, Slavkovsky, Cooley, Nemec, just throwing some names out there. We've done all those here on the channel. So if you enjoyed this content, you want to see more of that, more franchise mode, take a second, check out the channel. We'd love to have you join the community. It's a great one, and it'll be that much stronger with you as a part of it. Join us in our Discord server, link in the description, where we're just over 600, talking hockey, talking franchise mode. We'd love to have you in there during the postseason as well, some viewing parties and whatnot. But first and foremost, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments of this entire simulation. What was your biggest surprise, and what was the biggest thing that you think can likely come true? And don't forget my breakdown of the upcoming 2024 NHL postseason and the bracket challenge that will go with it, with prizes associated. You won't want to miss that either. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. We'd love to have you subscribe and join the team, and I look forward to seeing you once again in the next one. Enjoy the playoffs.